So if you are a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, you should be very, very happy, I think, with the offseason that team has had. Again, I know myself, I am very happy with it. And I think there's still maybe one or two moves I would like the Cleveland Cavaliers to make. And of course, not much has really happened since the opening day or two, but we did just get some more news that, yes, I could be right, that the Cavaliers could be making another move to try and turn this team into what I think is probably a championship contending team to really being a championship contending team. Of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers reportedly do have a $3.6 million non-tax mid-level exception to use. And of course, according to Chris Fedor, who is one of the biggest and most well-known Cavalier reporters, there is a couple players that the Cavs are, of course, looking at. One of those guys who I think the Cavaliers were very, very interested in before the offseason really started is, of course, Kelly Oubre. Another player, of course, actually being Christian Wood, which is really awesome that the Cavaliers are interested in these two players. I genuinely thought that Kelly Oubre was 100% going to be a player who the Cavaliers were most likely going to go after. The issue was, I figured that with how the Charlotte Hornets cap situation is going right now, they probably would not have enough money to actually re-sign him. So I thought maybe the Cavs could give him like an $8 million per year type deal to contend with the Hornets, but they really don't have enough money to sign him because apparently I don't even know, I think they've only really offered him the minimum so far, because that's like the only thing I think the Hornets really have at the moment, because they're really trying to get that PJ Washington deal done, and that's kind of putting off this Kelly Oubre situation. So before I do get into Christian Wood, I would like to talk about Kelly Oubre, because I think if the Cavaliers were to offer a mid-level exception, it would most likely be for Kelly Oubre right now. And the realistic thing is that mid-level exception is only around $4 million, which I don't think is what Kelly Oubre was looking for at all. I think there's definitely a lot of teams out there right now who do have like a $6 to $8 million exception. I think there's definitely a couple that do. But realistically, a lot of them are teams that you don't really expect Kelly Oubre to necessarily go and sign with, or more so those teams have other players they will probably look to sign before Oubre. Again, other than Oubre and Christian Wood, there's still a lot of random players who are pretty good, if not maybe considered better than those two, like a PJ Washington, who are just currently sitting on the free agent market that a lot of teams are going to try and get. And with Kelly Oubre, again, I thought he was going to be a dude that the Cavaliers looked to get, but again, with how the Cavaliers went about their offseason, they went in a bit of a different way that I'm much more happy about. They didn't just go for defense, they went for that more 3-and-D kind of route with going for, of course, a couple of players that they offered reportedly contracts to. The one they did end up getting is Max Strus, we know, on $16 million per year, which I thought was a really good thing. Again, it kind of came down to one of the last days where the Cavs said, Strus is our guy, we really want him. And they kind of went more full steam ahead for Max Strus than anyone. And they ended up getting rewarded with Strus, of course, signing with them. Then they tried to fill in that Kevin Love, I think taller forward who can shoot threes off the bench that they lost when K-Love left. We, of course, know they did bring in George Niang, who I thought was a really good decision. And again, bringing in those two guys, you kind of don't leave any room to offer, I think, a dude like Kelly Oubre a lot of cash, and cash that Kelly Oubre really wanted. Again, there is still probably going to be a contract offer for Oubre there, and I still think Oubre would be a pretty nice piece. You do just wonder, though, with how things are going for the Cavaliers, what is that final piece? Is Kelly Oubre the piece? Is he the guy that you bring in? Do you need that wing/forward like a Kelly Oubre, or do you need that more of a big man type of guy like a Christian Wood? Again, the Cavaliers brought in Damian Jones, and they've currently got Isaiah Mobley balling out in the Summer League. Then you've got Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley still on the team, and now George Niang to come play some backup for as well. You definitely have some big man there, but with the forwards as well, you've got Okoro, you've got LeVert, You've got Niang, who's also considered a forward. You've, got Struz, who is also there. You've got now Imani Bates. You definitely still have some forwards on this team. Dean Wade. You wonder, though, what is the more important player to bring in? In my opinion, it would possibly still be a big. The issue is Christian Wood the perfect kind of big for this Cavaliers team? Because if we're going to look at chemistry and how the system of the Cavaliers is, then Kelly Oubre is a way better fit because he's a 20-time billion better defender than what Christian Wood is. And the Cavaliers system is mostly built off great defense, and I think now they're trying to be great defense and space the ball out. They're a very big, heavy defensive team, and a dude like Kelly Oubre would really, really fit into that. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavaliers said, well, hold on. We know that Christian Wood is a lot bigger of a player than Kelly Oubre, but almost his defense would be more valued for us. So whereas on the Charlotte Hornets, we know Kelly Oubre played as a shooting guard / small forward, maybe on the Cavaliers, he'd be a small forward / power forward, who maybe even might play some small ball center at times. Again, the Cavaliers tried to do some small ball center last year. I think Dean Wade was there at some stages. Kevin Love was definitely there at some stages. It didn't work though, because those two guys just aren't good enough defenders. But I do wonder if the Cavaliers have Kelly Oubre and a Georgie Niang on the court at the same time, if that maybe could work. Again, it's not going to work on a dude like Nikola Jokic. That's very, very obvious. But if you're playing a team, like the Lakers, who might have a very small ball thing going on, where they've got Anthony Davis at the 5 and like Austin Reeves maybe playing some small forward, and a dude like Hachimura playing that power forward, then maybe you could see a situation where a Niang or maybe a Kelly Oubre play some small ball there. Again, not saying it would work. It is an option. The Cavaliers don't seem like the team to run that much small ball, but there's really not a whole lot of center options out there right now, and I feel like you need a dude who can play center / power forward. Again, Christian Wood, he does fit into that, but with how Christian Wood plays his game, he's a very, very high level scorer who does not care about defense a whole lot at all. He's not even that really great of a rebounder, I'd say. He's just an extremely good scorer. And with reports coming out that no team has offered Christian Wood more than the minimum contract, I can tell you right now, is just waiting for someone to offer him that mid-level exception. And I think it will come. I'm not sure if the Lakers have it, but I did say before, going to a team like the Lakers, who might need a scorer off the bench, would be pretty beneficial for Christian Wood. With the Cavaliers, I don't know how much they need that now. They've got Karis LeVert off that bench. They've got Imani Bates, who they hope to do some stuff. You'd still love some scoring off the bench. But again, if the Cavaliers are going to offer that mid-level to Kelly Oubre and he can't get back to the Hornets, I could see a dude like Kelly Oubre maybe accepting that deal. He knows he'd have a pretty big role on the Cavaliers team off the bench. And again, touch wood, this doesn't happen. But if they have an injury or something, definitely could see this dude starting some games. He's also not that bad at, again, scoring. He struggles to create his own shot, Oubre, but he's very good in the paint area. And definitely a very athletic guy who finds his way there quite a bit. I think he'd be good for the Cavaliers, and look, he might even start some games there. Whereas, Christian Wood, I don't really see Christian Wood starting at all for the Cavaliers, even if they have an injury. If Mobley or Allen goes down, again, touch wood, that doesn't happen, but let's just say it does. I still don't think a dude like Christian Wood would start on that team. He'd just be a high scorer off the bench who'd play the 15 to 25 minutes per night. And yeah, I feel like one defensive mistake from Christian Wood, which will probably happen, will be something that JB Bickerstaff would not be happy about at all. So I think the more safe bet for the Cavaliers would be to get Kelly Oubre. But the awesome thing, which I know 100% won't happen, is if they got Kelly Oubre and Christian Wood. Obviously, if they were able to sign both players, that would be exceptional. But realistic thing is, both of these players are going to be on mid-level exception signings, I would assume. Oubre, I think, could be very likely to the Cavaliers. I mean, if he says no to the Cavs, they could offer Christian Wood the mid-level, which I'd still be pretty happy about. I'm just not too sure how much he would fit. on this team. Again, I'd be very happy to be proven wrong. He would be very nice to have another scorer off the bench. And hey, he is still another big man, which the Cavaliers most of the time do desperately need. We still didn't really figure out the big man spot a whole lot. Again, Niang and Jones add height, and you expect Mobley to get a bit, Isaiah Mobley, that is, to get a bit better, I should say. Sorry for the stuttering, but it is going to be really interesting to see how this, of course, does go. I expect Christian Wood, though, to most likely know that his career is probably best off going to a team that desperately needs a scorer off the bench, that doesn't want him to play some defense, which is kind of what the Cavaliers want him to do. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this, of course, does all go and unfold. Definitely don't forget to let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Who do you guys think Christian Wood and Kelly Oubre might sign with in free agency? Of course, I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/flowing channels, which will be linked in the description down below. And subscribe to this channel, of course, if you haven't already. But yeah, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.